Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Lauren, and we are about to move through a gentle yoga practice focusing on the heart chakra. So I'm not going to go into too much of what the heart chakra is about. Often in terms of the body, we often use back bends and chest openers to tap into that space. What we're going to do today is we're going to focus more on sort of the shoulders and arms. Your arms are an extension of the heart chakra. So this entire space is all related to the heart chakra. So we're not going to do too much back bending, but sort of chest and shoulders still and into the arms for the heart chakra space. And energetically, I think it's pretty obvious. It relates to love, compassion, empathy, um, forgiveness. So there's a lot going on there. Again, I'll link some stuff below instead of talking too much about it. But actually, for the heart chakra, we're going to start with a meditation. And I like to do this meditation seated, but we're going to be here for a while. So maybe you want to lean up against a wall or find a chair or just move in some way. You're welcome to lie on your back, whatever makes you comfortable. I like to, again, like I said, I like to do this one seated. But we are going to be seated for a while. So just make sure you're comfortable. And then for today's practice, you'll need 2 blocks. And then I always have my blanket. So nothing much else other than that though. So just find a comfortable seat. Again, whatever that looks like, however you set yourself up, just be comfortable. All right. So allow your legs to relax, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and just place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Doesn't matter which one. And just take some deep breaths here. Just really tap into your breath. Check in with your breathing pattern. And just watch and observe. Don't judge or change. Take some really big, deep breaths. Let's take about 3 to 5 more big breaths, just like this. And then once you finish your last big breath, bring your hands to your heart and Anjali Mudra, palms together, thumbs softly resting on the collarbones. Again, let your legs relax, but lengthen up through the crown of the head. Let the shoulders relax, lift the chest. Breathe slowly and smoothly. Let go of any thoughts or distractions. Just let your mind focus on your breath as it flows in and out. One more breath here. And then keeping your body soft and relaxed, start to rub the palms together. So just moving the arms, but rubbing the palms together. You can start off slow and small, but gradually start to increase the speed, increase the movement. So you're really quickly rubbing your palms together. Feel warmth, feel the heat, feel energized. Continue to build this heat. Build this energy. Notice the feeling, notice the warmth, the heat, the fire. Notice this energy. Relax the shoulders. Just move the arms, the hands. One more moment. Feel this powerful, energetic warmth. And then place your right hand over your heart and your left hand on top of your right hand. So right hand over the heart, left hand over the right hand, and feel the energy, the warmth, the heat, all in your heart. Feel at the center of your chest this warm and radiant energy. Maybe you imagine this energy as an emerald green light. But imagine this loving, compassionate energy from your heart traveling out down the shoulders, down the arms, to the hands, right back into the heart. So there's this cycle of loving energy radiating around your arms, your hands, your heart, your chest, your shoulders, flowing out into the arms and flowing back into the heart. Continue to visualize this emerald green, loving, compassionate light. And then for a moment, reflect on the courage it takes to keep your heart open and loving. The courage it takes to keep your heart loving and open, especially in difficult times when fear and hate and anger pull us away. No matter how many times you've closed down your heart or turned your back on love, it's okay. You can open your heart again. Love belongs to you. Allow yourself to feel completely soaked with the heart chakra energy. Absorb that energy. And then gently turn your palms away from you, keeping shoulders relaxed, elbows bent, chest lifted, but again, palms away from you. And now feel or visualize this green, loving, light energy flowing out of your palms and into the world. Flowing out of your palms and into the world, and maybe to a specific loved one of yours, or a group of people, or maybe just to all beings. Maybe just sending loving energy out into the world. Nowhere in particular. But imagine all that love, that light, that compassion, that you can share it, that you can radiate outward this loving light. No matter how many times you have closed down your heart or turned your back on love, it's okay. You can open your heart again. Love belongs to you. Now bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. And again, rub the palms together, creating that warmth, that energy, that heat, that fire. Take some deep breaths. Come back into the room. Rub the palms together. One more big breath. Rub the palms, and then to end the meditation, bring the right hand over the chest, left hand over the right hand. Take a few deep breaths. Right hand on the heart, left hand over the right hand. Connect to your heart. Now, if it feels right, maybe you take this time to set an intention. To keep connecting to your heart. And then slowly draw your chin in towards your chest, bowing reverently. Slowly allow the eyelids to flutter open. Gently release the arms and hands. And slowly lift the head. Okay. So, continuing with that soft, gentle, but still powerful, loving energy, let's start to bring more movement into some of those spaces. So give yourself a moment. Maybe roll the shoulders, maybe move the head and neck, maybe change the cross of your legs. But we are going to start moving. So if you were seated either against the wall or in a chair, come on, join us back on your mat. And we're going to move all these spaces in just a moment, but give yourself a moment to do what you would like to do, whatever that looks like. Okay. All right. Let's start with the head and the neck. So allow your legs to relax, sit up tall, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Now, maintaining length and lift in the chest, we'll start to move the head in small circles. So just pick one direction and start with really small circles. Like the crown of your head is tracing very small circles up overhead on the ceiling. Now you're lifting your chest, relaxing the shoulders, moving the head and neck in slow, smooth circles. And then if it feels all right, maybe you gradually increase the size of the circle, almost like you're tracing a spiral. So gradually increasing the size of the circle with every rotation. We'll do just a couple more. So there's no rush, but whenever you're ready, let your chin fall towards your chest. Just let your head hang down like you're looking down towards your belly, down towards your lap. Just chin to the chest, hanging forward. Take a breath. And reverse the direction of the circle. So start a little slower. Maybe not necessarily the largest circles you can make. If you're consistently hearing sound effects, clicking or popping, try to bring the circle in a little bit, make it a little smaller. But again, lift the chest, check in with your spine, relax hips and legs, relax shoulders and arms. We'll do just a couple more with the head and the neck in this direction. So maybe the circles are larger, or maybe you start to gradually decrease the size of the circle. But when you're ready, start to do so. Start to gradually decrease the size of the circle. So now you're tracing that spiral going inward, making each rotation a little bit smaller than the one before it. Very gradually coming back to the center. back to neutral. Once you come back to the center, really reach the crown of the head up. Take a breath. All right. Okay. Now let's stretch the neck a little differently. So now let's bring the hands behind us. Reach your fingertips back, draw your palms together, and bring the palms together so that you interlace your fingers. Let the shoulders roll down and back, lift the chest. Reach the knuckles back, and then start to reach the knuckles and the arms over by your left side. So it's like the back of your right hand will come by your left side, whether that's by the back of the ribs or by the waist. It doesn't really matter how much it comes over. It is a reflection of how tight your chest and shoulder is. So maybe you've got a tight chest and tight shoulder. Most of us do. So there's no judgment. There's nothing wrong with that, but just sort of drawing it over. And then often drawing that over pushes the ribs forward. So can you bring your spine back to neutral? Sit on the top of your, or the bottom, I should say, of your sit bones, not the front or the back edge. Right on top. Okay. And then keep the right arm close to the body. So this arm that's behind you, make sure it's not splaying out. Keep your forearms snug to your body. Relax your shoulders. And then very slowly let your head fall over to the left, like your left ear is falling towards your left shoulder. Now you know your body and you know to keep listening to your body. So maybe you stay here, or maybe very slowly and mindfully, you start to make small movements in any direction to just find your stretch, find your Goldilocks spot where it's not too much, not too little, it's just right. And that's going to be different from every single person. So find the stretch, the angle, the location that you need to get to the stretch that feels the most beneficial for you. That might mean drawing your chin down, your chin up. I sometimes like to draw my chin in towards my chest, like I'm drawing the forehead forward, or maybe do the opposite. And let's stay here for 3 more breaths. Find your stretch and take some deep breaths. And then slowly return the head and neck back to neutral, crown of the head to the sky, spine all the way back to neutral. And then allow the arms to reach back. Maybe you slide your fingers over one, change the cross of the grip, and then reach the knuckles over so they come around your right side. So it's like the back of your left hand will be meeting either the back of your right ribs or around the right side of the waist. Again, it doesn't matter how close it comes, or how far around it comes. That's not that doesn't really matter, really. It really doesn't. What I want you to focus more on is that left elbow and the left forearm. Can you bring it back in towards your body? That's to protect your shoulder. That's more important than anything else. All right. And then check in with your spine. Is your belly button pointing down towards the ground, down towards your thighs? Probably. So tuck your tailbone, lift your chest, relax your shoulders, and then let your head fall over the right ear, dropping towards the right shoulder. Now you might fall and just stay right where your head has fallen. Maybe that's the spot. Or maybe start a little soft, gentle exploration to find your stretch. Your body is a product of your habits. Your body is not a product of my habits, right? So the way you spend your time, the way you position your body throughout the day will influence your body. What's tight, what's open, what needs movement, what has too much movement. So find what you need. Take some deep breaths. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths. And then slowly return the head and the neck back to the center, crown of the head up to the sky. You can release the hands all together, release the arms, lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders, take a deep breath. Okay, move around however feels good for just a moment. We are going to do one more seated stretch, one more seated movement. Okay. All right. So allow your legs to relax. Right hand is going to reach up. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the left hand down. Reach right fingertips over. We're going to stay on this side. So we often do this stretch, but we don't usually hold it for very long. So what we're going to do here. So the left hand is down. Maybe it slides out. Maybe you just bend the elbow. Whatever feels good. Whatever allows you to relax your left shoulder. Because it's not about your left shoulder. It's not about your left arm. Okay, but now with the right arm, sweep up and over. Make sure that the right side of your seat is still down. Feel it through the spine, the shoulder, and the arm. We're going to move the arm. Slowly let the right fingertips sweep up and over like you're reaching again towards the ground, but you keep your spine tipped to the side. Inhale as you reach the arm up and over. Exhale, let it bring it back down. A few more like this. Inhale as you sweep the arm. Exhale as you lower it. Let's do two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Now this time as you inhale, reach the arm up overhead. We're going to hold it there for just a moment before we add newer movement. So now we're going to do circles. Let your arm come forward, down and around, and do some circles here at the shoulder. Keeping that side lateral bend, so keep pushing the right hip, right side of your seat into the ground, and then eventually reverse the directions in your right shoulder, the direction, I should say, in your right shoulder. And especially if you're drawing your arm back, maybe you sort of turn, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze up towards the ceiling. Almost like you're adding a little bit of a back bend, really opening through the chest and heart and the front of the shoulder. Let's do about one or two more. And then we'll reach the arm up overhead again, sweeping it up and over like we normally do. Push that left hand down. Inhale, return back up, switch sides. Left hand reaches up and eventually over. Okay, so the right hand, again, maybe it slides out. Maybe you bend the elbow, but let the right shoulder relax away from the right ear. Push the left hip, left sit bone, left side of your seat into the ground. Left arm reaches up and over. You're going to keep your spine as it is, just move the arm. Let the arm come down, back down towards the hip, down towards the mat. Inhale, reach it up and over, up by the ear. Exhale, let the arm come down by the hip. Inhale, let it come up by the ear. A few more like this. Again, keep pushing the left side of your seat down into the ground, allowing that opening in the side of the body. Let's do three more. Inhale and exhale. Relax that right shoulder, relax that right arm. Inhale and exhale. Now the next time the arm comes up overhead, up by the ear, we're going to hold it there for a moment. Check in with your seat, draw your ribs in a bit, and then do some circles. Bring the arm forward, down to your side, and then behind you and up and around. Do really large circles, slow, controlled, no rush, no hurry. Really notice what you're feeling. Do just one or two more. And then when you're ready, when the arm comes up overhead again by the ear, reverse the direction of the circle. And it can just stay with just the shoulder. Maybe these first few it does. Or maybe you start to add a little bit of movement, like you're really turning your heart to face up towards the ceiling. Getting a deeper chest opening, shoulder opening. We'll do about three more. And then the next time your arm comes up by the ear again, push the right hand down. Inhale, rise up, all 10 fingertips reaching up, up, up. Exhale, let the arms come all the way down. The arms come down, but allow the spine to continue to feel tall and lengthened. Shoulders down and back. Puff the chest up. Take a breath. All right. Okay, let's come into tabletop. We're going to be in tabletop for a little bit, so you might bring some padding under your knees. And we're going to start off with just some cat and cows. So hands under the shoulders, spread the fingers, knees under the hips, and inhale, drop the belly, point your belly button towards your thighs, ribs towards the floor, lift your chest, lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, belly button towards the face, ribs to the sky, chin to the chest. Move with your breath. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs up, chin to the chest. A few more like this. Move with your breath. And maybe you add other movements here. Maybe you add a little sway with your hips. Maybe you move the head and neck side to side. You don't have to stick with cat and cow in its most traditional sense. Move your torso, move in a way that feels good for about 5 more breaths. So maybe that's cat and cow, maybe that's side to side. Give yourself a moment or two. One more breath. All right, and then we're going to come back to tabletop. Now we're going to come to what I think all of you have done with me before, rhomboid push-ups. And so I want your upper back to be working. So sort of, we think of the chakras in the front of the body, but they're in the front and the back, right? They're sort of in the core. So this encompasses both of those spaces. So hands under shoulders, same setup as tabletop. Now, instead of allowing the entire spine to move, keep your pelvis in neutral. Sometimes I like to think as if you've got a block on your lower back and we don't want it to tip in any way. We want it to stay level. Okay, so you're going to look down to the space between your thumbs, keeping the arms straight. Just let your heart, I got tongue tied for a second. Let your heart sag towards the floor. Create a wrinkle in the space between your shoulder blades. Create a wrinkle in your shirt along your spine in the upper back. And then push the hands down, lift the chest, create a dome. So it's not cat pose. Your belly button is pointing towards the mat the whole time, not your thighs or your face. We're just moving the upper body, really isolating the upper back. So let the heart sag, create wrinkles along the spine between the shoulder blades. Squeeze, feel your muscles work in your upper back. And then push the hands down, lift the chest, create a dome. Really release and stretch out any wrinkles in your upper back. We'll do this a few more times. Let the heart sag, squeeze the upper back, create a deep valley. Push the hands down, lift the heart, create a dome. Do about 2 or 3 more, just like this. Okay, and then return to neutral. And then let's just take a child's pose. So you can keep the knees either hip distance, you can bring them narrower or wider, but bring the big toes together. Let the fingertips crawl forward, let the elbows rest, let the forehead rest. Take a few deep breaths. Take one more deep breath here. All right, now slide your hands so your hands come under your shoulders. Push your hands down, lift your chest. All right, if you had some sort of padding under your knees, I would push it off to the side. I think it's going to get in the way. We're going to come up to standing. So come on into tabletop for just a moment. So I often will cue a specific way to come up to tabletop, to come up to forward fold, but you've got lots of options. So let me just go over them really quick. From tabletop, you could always step 1 foot forward and then lift the back knee and then step forward to forward fold. Or what I was going to have you do, but if this doesn't ever feel right for you, you could take the lunge option or down dog. So walk your hands one whole handprint closer, hook the toes under, inhale. Exhale, down dog. So again, if down dog ever doesn't feel right for any reason, you can always step 1 foot forward, take a lunge. But down dog usually feels pretty good. So stay for a few breaths, explore, move, feel, experience. Two to three more breaths. All right, from down dog, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk forward. Take baby steps. Walk your feet forward. We'll meet in forward fold. We'll stay for a few breaths. So maybe you bend your knees. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. Maybe you sway or take some other movement that feels good. Or maybe you just stay still. Do what feels good. Do what feels right. 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, and then come back to a traditional forward fold. So soft bend in the knees, weight back in the heels. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine, crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Push the heels down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, maybe lift the chest. Looking up, bring your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath. Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, let's do a few half sun salutations. So can you connect your feet to the ground? Notice that connection to the earth as your feet push down, but reach the crown of the head up towards the sky, connecting above and below, and your heart in the center. One breath here. All right, inhale, circle the arms, maybe even look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Push the heels down, inhale, rise. Circle the arms, lift the chest. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Push the heels down, inhale, rise, circle the arms, Urdhva Hastasana as you look up. 1 more, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, root down to rise up. Maybe add a back bend. Let's keep going. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, take your time, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step back to downward facing dog. So take your time, down dog, and just a few breaths here. Explore, move, feel, 3 breaths. All right. Now we're going to come down onto our stomachs. Okay. But excuse me. Make sure your blocks are close by. And we're going to come down onto our stomachs. And actually, what I like to do is I like to use my blanket to support my forehead. You could absolutely just put your forehead down on the ground. Or you could put your forehead on something other than the ground. So that's up to you. But make sure your blocks are close by too. We're going to need them in a moment. All right. So we've done this before. This is sort of it's a combination of a strength and a stretch for the shoulders and the back. So opening all these spaces that we're working on. So just let your legs relax. Anytime you're laying on your stomach, think about lifting up one leg at a time, really reaching your toes back so everything's nice and long, especially in the hip flexors. Maybe you can feel it. I always do. And then just let your forehead come down onto the ground or down onto whatever you want it to come down on. And bring your arms into goalpost, bending at the elbows, palms down on the ground, fingertips reaching forward. Now we're going to keep the elbows down on the ground throughout this action. That's what's going to make it tough, but we're going to keep the elbows down on the ground. We'll start with the right arm. Lift up the right hand, the right wrist, the right forearm, but the elbow stays down. Slowly release the right arm and do the same with the left. Elbow stays down, but hand, wrist, forearm, lift, and slowly lower. Now just go ahead and keep alternating. Right arm, lift it up, pause at the top, and slowly release. Left arm, keep the elbow down, but lift, hand, wrist, forearm, hold, and lower. Now keep going at your own pace. Let your forehead feel heavy on the ground, on the support. Relax the muscles of your face. Relax your throat, neck, and jaw. Make sure you're breathing. Notice what you're feeling. Again, it's a combination of a stretch and a strengthening action in spaces we don't use very much. Definitely muscles we don't isolate. So it's kind of a weird, funky feeling. That's kind of the point. We'll try to relax. Let's do one more on each side. All right. And then when you're ready, we're going to push to child's pose again. So bring your hands down under the ground, or under your shoulders, onto the ground. Let your hips come back towards your heels. Again, knees can be narrow or wide, but this time curl your arms forward and keep the elbows off the ground, elbows straight. Now your forehead might come to the ground. It might not, but keep crawling your fingertips forward. Make this an active child's pose. Arms are straight, elbows off the ground, forearms off the ground, but palms on the ground. Notice this feeling through the shoulders, the sides of the spine. Take 2 breaths here. All right, now we're going to come back onto our stomach. We're going to do each of those things one more time, but we're going to up the ante. Option to up the ante, let me say. So you could do exactly what we just did, just as we did them. Or maybe you grab onto your blocks and you bring your blocks down so that now when you're bringing your palms down onto the ground, your palms are actually on the blocks. Elbows are still going to be on the mat. So elbows are still going to stay glued to the ground, but we've lifted the height of the hand, so it's going to be more challenging. Maybe you don't need more of a challenge. That's okay. This is tough, but it's the exact same thing. So let your forehead come down onto whatever you want it to come down onto. Elbows will stay down. We're going to start with the right arm. Right hand, wrist, and forearm lift up off the block or the mat. But the elbow stays down and then release. Let the left hand, wrist, forearm lift up, elbow stays down, and slowly release. Now keep switching, just like before, alternating, one arm at a time. Elbow stays down onto the mat. So now your hands are probably not going to lift up as high. That's okay. Can you still relax the muscles of the face, the throat, neck, and jaw? Relax your glutes, your legs. Take smooth, fluid breaths. Let's do one more on each side. All right. We're going to come into a child's pose, but this time we're going to use the blocks for the child's pose as well. So hands under shoulders, lift yourself up. Now it's a similar idea. We're going to lift the hands up. So in a child's pose, I'd have them down at the lowest height, palms on the blocks. I would start at the lowest height, palms on the block for the child's pose. Now, just like before, keeping the arms straight, forearms and elbows off the ground. Your forehead might touch the ground, it might not. But notice that you'll feel more in your shoulders, more in the upper body. And if this is too much, get rid of the blocks. That's fine. But if you're thinking, ooh, I like this, and I could even stand more, maybe you do this. Same thing with the blocks on their next height. So now on the medium height. Again, forehead may or may not touch the ground, or maybe you want to support it with your blanket. But arms are straight, elbows off the ground. Notice this feeling in chest, shoulders, upper back, arms. Stay in your version of a child's pose, the version that feels good, that feels productive and beneficial, the version that's calling to you. 3 more breaths. And then slowly crawl your fingers and your hands off the blocks. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Push your hands into the ground and inhale, rise. Lifting your torso. All right. We're going to come onto our backs. So keep your blocks close by. And I'm going to bring some support under the back of my head as well. All right. Come on down onto your back. Again, your blocks close by. You don't need them just this second, but you will eventually. Okay, we're going to first set up in a twist. So you can let the arms come out in opposite directions, palms face up, shoulders relaxed. And just even before we get into the twist, notice, maybe you can feel it, maybe you look, how close is your thumb to the ground? So notice if your palm is sort of facing in the same direction as the bottom of your mat, or is your palm actually facing the sky? Is your thumb kind of close to the ground? That's really tightness in the chest and shoulders. And so we just opened all that up. So maybe notice tomorrow or next time you do yoga, when you get to the mat, notice how close your thumbs are to the mat. All right, let's start off slow, knees bent, feet flat. Let's just let the knees sway side to side. We're in no rush. So let the knees sway, the legs sway. Now as we let the legs move, let the upper body feel heavy. The back of the head, backs of the shoulders, backs of the hands, all heavy on the ground. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to engage in any way. Just let it all relax. We'll stay just a little bit longer. Smooth, fluid movements. And just a couple more. All right, and then when you are ready, let your legs fall over to the left and let them stay there. And maybe you cross your right leg over your left, or maybe you straighten your right leg, or maybe you turn and look over your right shoulder. Try to keep the back of the right shoulder down on the mat so that your heart is facing the sky. Your belly button is facing over to the left, so you know you're twisting. Now, if you're like me and your arms tend to fall asleep in this pose, I like to just kind of place my hands on my belly, on my ribs. That often helps. But settle in, relax into it. Take some deep breaths. Stay here for 3 more breaths. If your head is turned, slowly return your head back to the center. And gently do the same with your legs. Return everything back to the center, back to neutral, and just take a few breaths. All right. Now for the second side, let's start it the same way. Let the knees just sway. So feet and knees might be hip distance. They might be a little closer together. Find your sweet spot. Find your Goldilocks position. So I really love that reference. I found it in a Bernie Clark book. He's a yin yoga teacher. But thinking about something that's not too deep, not too mild, but also knowing that it's just right for you, that your Goldilocks position is different from somebody else's. It might be different from everyone else's. That's okay. It's all about finding your sweet spot. So just move, feel good, breathe, take your time. And when you're ready, let your legs fall to the right. Let them stay. Take any variation, modification that you need. You might cross your left leg over your right. You might lengthen your left leg. You might reach the arms out, palms up, maybe hands on the belly or ribs. Maybe keep the neck in neutral, look up towards the sky, or maybe turn and look over your left shoulder. But keep that left shoulder on the ground, heart facing the sky, belly button facing the right side of the room. And then release. Allow yourself to soften. Allow yourself to relax. Stay for 3 more breaths. If your head is turned, slowly return it to the center. And then gently return your legs back to the center, back to neutral. Come all the way back. Notice how you feel. We're going to take one last pose. And it's not really a heart chakra pose, but it just goes good here. Let's take butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. So grab onto your blocks. And for this, you absolutely could just use pillows or something if you prefer it. Maybe you have blocks, but you think, you know what, I like pillows instead. The height, the texture, the feel, that's fine too. Whatever you want to use, but support your legs somehow. I really am not a fan of butterfly pose with no support, especially for an extended time. If you're going to hold it longer than, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, you should have some support for the joints. Sometimes people think of blocks like training wheels for yoga poses, but that's not it. It's safety sometimes. So protect your joints, support your bones. And you can draw your feet closer to your hips or farther away from your hips. That will change the stretch. So again, your sweet spot, find it, explore, take what you need to. And I mentioned doing this with your legs when you're on your stomach, but something I always like to do when I'm on my back is I like to lift my head, reach the crown of the head towards the wall behind me, and then let my head drop down. So for those of you who were in classes with me pre-pandemic, I sometimes would walk around and I'd come by behind you, pick up your head and pull it, and then drop it back down. I want you to do that. I want you to lift, lengthen the spine, and then release the head down. And then settle in. Just let everything relax. And check in with your breath. Now, you don't really have to change your breath, but just notice it. Really feel it. Feel your breath. Feel each and every breath. What does it feel like to breathe? Take 3 more breaths here in this pose. Continue to take deep breaths and invite soft movements around your body. Maybe rock your head, wiggle fingers and toes, move a little through the wrists and arms. I know it's a little tough, but bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs, even if it's just your fingers. And use the strength of your arms to draw your knees together like you're closing a book. You can set the blocks off to the side. And take any movement that feels good. So maybe hug your knees in. Maybe take a happy baby, more hip opening. Maybe in happy baby, straighten one leg, bend the other. Maybe roll side to side. We're going to settle into our Shavasana in a few moments. So take the next few moments, next few breaths as an opportunity. Put on layers, grab or remove props, whatever you got to do. So make yourself comfortable. Allow yourself to relax. And as you're in this final relaxation, like always, you are welcome to move through your own meditation, your own mantra, focus on your breath, whatever you need, but I will give you some affirmations that you might use or you might not. But channeling this energy of the heart chakra, maybe you think to yourself, my heart radiates powerful, loving light. I am worthy of the purest love. I love and accept myself unconditionally. I choose love every day. My heart is filled with joy and gratitude. My heart radiates powerful, loving light. I am worthy of the purest love. I love and accept myself unconditionally. I choose love every day. My heart is filled with joy and gratitude. Slowly deepen your breath. Fill your body with deep breaths. Take big, full, slow breaths and invite gentle movements throughout your body. Rock your head side to side. Run your thumbs over the rest of your fingers as you wiggle your toes. Roll wrists and ankles. Move arms and legs. You can reach your arms overhead, stretching as if you just woke up from a long nap. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest. And slowly roll over onto either side, resting your ear on your arm to support your head and neck. Using the strength of both arms, push down into the ground, come up to a comfortable seat. And take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today. And maybe reflect on your intention. Loka samasta suki no bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. Now we'll join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. To close our practice, we'll chant the sound of Om one time. Let's start with a deep and clearing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Ah. The light or the good in me acknowledges, respects, and bows to the light or the good in you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, for following along, for listening to your body. I hope you enjoyed that practice. I hope you enjoyed the meditation at the beginning. I was worried that the sequence was going to be way too long, so I don't want to say I shortened it, but know that that practice of the rubbing and bringing it in and bringing it out, and you could do that for a while, and you certainly could do that on your own. You don't need me to or anybody to walk you through that. Just feeling, imagining, visualizing, whatever it is, that energy that you have, whether you want to focus on love or whatever, could be healing energy, whatever it is. But just if that's something that resonates with you, try it on your own. Try it. Again, you don't need me. You can do it on your own. So I say that because I really love that meditation. That's something that resonates with me. So if you're like me and you enjoy it, you can do it on your own. Bring it with you on your day, and maybe just visualize. Maybe you don't even do the physical part, whatever. But I hope you enjoyed that practice. Thank you again so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye.